There's so much good content out there on Jekyll Island and all that, but
Yeah, people should definitely do some research in Jekyll Island, the Federal Reserve. It's very, very complex, I think, intentionally.
yeah, it's too much to go into. But I want to bring up one more place that's just like it, that no one talks about this side of. What else happened in 1947? A certain place was opened in South Florida called Bal Harbour.
Bal Harbour.
Bal Harbour. Bale.
Like
Ball.
the god of sacrifice.
That is the headquarters of Judaism in the southeast United States.
Really?
Bal Harbour. You can ask every single person on the street in Bal Harbour, what does Bal mean? Not a single one can tell you.
I knew right away.
There's no explanation. No explanation given. It's Bal Harbour. It's, it's 50% Jewish, 50% other people who just like to live right on the water. It's right on the water, right next to Miami Beach. Remember when John McAfee died?
Yeah.
And people said that he had this kill switch?
Yeah.
Okay, in Bal Harbour, right next to Bal Harbour, they were calling it Surfside. Surfside's a little neighborhood. Bal Harbour's a little neighborhood. It's the same thing. We don't know if John McAfee actually had an apartment in this apartment complex, but I think we all remember the apartment complex that just mysteriously building 7'd into rubble.
Yeah, just wasn't hit by a plane.
In North Miami. That was in Bal Harbour. And that happened on the same night that John McAfee died.
Wow.
And it's believed that he had an apartment or information stored in this one little apartment in Bal Harbour.
And then it collapsed.
It fell. It literally...
Interesting. Yeah, he's a guy I talked to a few times. I never met him, but I chatted. He was a fight fan. So I was talking to. Obviously, I would have had him on the podcast if he was still alive. But he was the guy I chatted to. Very interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, I never met him, but I had a couple phone conversations with him and texted him a few times. It's just such an interesting, very, very interesting, fascinating guy.
Sure. When that apartment building collapsed, they didn't let American response teams or like emergency teams do all the digging. Jake, I'm not even kidding. Go look this up. They literally brought in the IDF to dig through the rubble.
Way.
It's Ron DeSantis had a whole ceremony where he was like patting the IDF on the back. He's like, thanks.
How can they rationalize this? How can they bring the IDF to handle American matters? This is insane.
Dude, and you know how in Brooklyn and Manhattan they have parts where the Orthodox Jews have their own paramedics and hospitals.
Yeah, and they'll leave non-Jews to die.
I don't know about that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
They have in the past. They left the kids that caused there was riots over it years ago. I can't remember what years, but
they have those in South Florida too, especially around Bal Harbour, Hollywood. Okay, these are the places that they essentially congregate in and have stayed in Florida, and all the things.
That's so crazy, the name.
Dude, it's insane, and it was founded in 1947 with all these people who were moving around the world around 1947.
Yeah, it was right after World War II. I guess there was massive, Jewish come to here in Israel,
But yeah, man. Anything else you want to ask about? I'm pretty much all out.
Fascinating. Let me look real quick if there's any. I had a couple. There's so much fascinating stuff. I had questions, but now I can't think of what it was. There were several questions I had, but now they're not coming to me. There was so much interesting information.
The Chabad Lubavitch, who is the most extreme. Just to clarify, the Chabad Lubavitch, that is Bal Harbour. So when I say that's the headquarters, people are going to say, oh, which sect? It's the Chabad Lubavitch sect, which is the most messianic, the most fanatical, hardcore Zionist, and they are the ones with the tunnels and the mattresses. That's Chabad Lubavitch.
These are literally the tunnel Jews. But these are some very powerful people, too. They're not just some random Jews. Basically, every president in the United States meets with them. Putin goes and meets with them. What's the Argentina guy? I think he
Milei. He met them in Bal Harbour. Look it up. When they met
so many world leaders come and meet these guys. It's like Netanyahu. They believe our souls aren't even human. It's like there's a Jewish soul and there's a non-Jewish soul. We're like not the same. We're like animals. These people, our president's going to bow to these people. Trump had to go to the grave of their head rabbi. It's fascinating, interesting stuff.
Yeah. Trump lives in Palm Beach. Epstein lives in Palm Beach. Just one last thing. Why is Palm Beach so rich and so, happening and so relevant culturally?
Why is that?
It is the place in America that comes closest to the Gulf Stream. That warm water highway that I was telling about before, that was the primary trade route and slave trade route. Palm Beach is where that warm water, that current, comes closest to the mainland.
That's why it's all warm right there.
That's why it's so nice. All the coconuts land here, and it's beautiful and nice, and yeah.
Yeah, no, it's completely fascinating conversation. I definitely want to have another one. But let's give your stuff a plug real quick, like your channel, where people can find you, you're on social media.
For sure. Old World Florida on YouTube, Old World Florida on Rumble, X. I've got a Patreon too. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, do you do a lot of interviews or no? Because I was like blown away by some of the stuff you told me today. I've never seen it on a podcast or anything. So I was like, wow, this is some interesting stuff.
I do a lot of interviews.